is a wonderful day. My wife is in great spirits, and
I think you mean she was in great spirits before.
Before I arrived.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Well, I was trying to dirt talk him, and I forgot that we're wireless, so he was walking around listening to everything I was saying. So that's my first faux pas this morning.
That's an interesting way of saying it. Dirt talking him.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say the other one, right?
Oh, talk dirty.
No, no, I ain't doing none of that.
Just checking.
No. Well, no, it's because he said my stories are boring, and I read them off like,
You know.
So I just said, well, then I won't do a story. I'll just sit here.
Well, that might help the show a little bit, but what I'm thinking is that's not what I said. I didn't say your stories are boring. I said, you're not going, she goes, prepare, I'm going to read the top 100 places.
No, it was not.
She's going to read, I go, you can't read the top 100 places. That would be boring. And then what did that turn into? Her stories are boring.
And then you said,
now it's
where are these places? Are they even relevant? Are they this?
Exactly. So
you can't just read off something. You need to have a story. You need to do it properly.
And that all sounds like it makes sense, right? And that, but when she says that I said that her stories are boring, so now she's not going to do a story, that conversation never came up. So.
You were dirt talking me.
Hey, it's all about framing.
And
then Mike said he taped it all, so we can go back and listen.
You wouldn't enjoy that.
Neither would you.
Oh, I would. I would enjoy it. I actually don't mind making mistakes. You're the one that's afraid of being wrong on something and get so defensive if you did something wrong.
Anyways, good morning. Going out to you from the greater GTA area.
You know what I want to do?
This show is about real estate and mortgages.
And if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, send us an email at onair@yourteam.pro. We had a pre-email from Tommy just saying he's waiting for the show anxiously. So thank you, Tommy, for that email. Anyone else, onair@yourteam.pro. And you can also catch us live on YouTube. Just search for Your Team Pros.
Well, I think that we did not do the draw for May.
Oh, you didn't do it?
April. We did not do the
You
April
didn't
draw.
do it? Why? Were you not prepared?
Have you ever tried to help prepare anything? Honestly, with regards to the show,
I'm
the
the
real
face of
estate,
this company,
anything.
okay? That's all I need to be.
So you
the
want,
face.
if you're going to attack, be prepared for a counterattack.
Oh, I
You
know.
can't just
I
attack
know.
and then you stand there without a shield. You got to have a shield.
Oh, I have a
prepared
shield.
For the counterattack.
I don't give a you know what.
So so what I'm looking to do is let's get our
He's
April
looking to
draw.
do it on time the next week.
Let's get our April draw out of the way. Next week, Saturday is the first week of May, but Thursday is
I mean June.
the June. So then we would be doing the.
May.
Oh, actually, we're doing the May draw right now.
Can you help him out, Anthony?
I don't know what's going on right
And the
now.
June
May is
draw.
not over.
Yeah, I know. We do it at the beginning of the month now. We changed.
Okay.
You might have missed that memo. You might not have read it. You might have missed the meeting. No, you were in on the meeting, but
I
you
don't
were
miss any meetings.
thinking about something
Even
else.
if I'm on appointments, I have the meeting in my ear when you do it, so don't go there.
Okay, that's a good point. So we want to do the May draw now so that we can get prepared. Now, next week won't be the June draw, even though Saturday would be June, because we only have from Thursday to Saturday for people to enter. So we're going to do it the following week. And so, but we'll be sending out to everybody Thursday, Friday, over the weekend, also the draw questionnaire in order to join. But
So
you know what?
long story short,
Yeah.
if you send us an email at any time, we'll be getting emails from us so you can enter the draw. For this draw, unfortunately, we've already have the names, but for our draw happening in 2 weeks from now, look out for an email from us or send us an email if you'd like to be considered for the draw, and we would, love for you to be involved.
Yeah.
So that was the short form.
So great. So let's do the draw. Shall we do it? Does someone want to click the button? Just click it.
Go for it,
And
Anthony.
should
I'm not
start
doing
spinning.
nothing.
Yeah, start.
Yep. It's going.
Wow, it didn't spend very
It's
long.
been, and the winner
It's
is.
winner is Ann N. Ann N. You just won a $25 gift Amazon gift card, and you also get to choose what charity you would like the money to go to. Where
Well, we're
No,
donating,
yeah.
not your $25.
On top of the 20.
on top of your $25
it
Amazon
right there,
card.
man.
Okay. You also get to choose what charity we are going to send some money to. And I believe it's for this particular job, it's about $1 per person that we're going to be giving away. So it's a double win. Every one of our
The last
new
time
draws
the
are
charity
going to be
was,
double wins.
Sick kids, the last time we donated to.
Yes. And so congratulations, Ann N.
And before Randy gets into his dialogue, soliloquy, yeah, that's a good word for it. But one more email in from Sam. Sam says, hello today. Hi, your team pro. We love Jackie. Be nice to her.
Every show we get at least one email telling you to be nice to me.
I
How come you're not learning? Are you too old to learn anymore?
They did not say Randy be nice. It could have been Anthony you're
Can
talking about. It
somebody
could have been
say-
Gary. It could have been your children. It could be just a general comment. They didn't happen to mention anybody
I don't know. I don't think it was me.
specific.
I was voted Mr. Congeniality in high school, so
Yeah.
just saying.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That was in high school, though. What was that, like 50 years ago? Huh?
It was 50 for me. Was it 80 for you?
He's a lot younger than you, old buck.
How do you know that?
Just look. Look at all this gray.
Yeah, that was the other thing she gave me trouble for was the scruffiness.
You look homeless.
I think I look, what's it? It's
Dignified?
dignified.
No, dignified would be like trimming it up, man.
No, this is like
He can't do it himself, so the barber wasn't open this morning.
It's the thing is it's just the look of having, not worrying about what you look like and trying to serve the universe.
I love how you're gonna say all these things straight face, so
I know.
serious.
This is what you do when you're
I
an
know.
intergalactic
I think he's gonna haunt me like this even when he dies. Like,
superhero. So, and some of you do know, and it's actually probably not even a good thing to say on air because
oh boy, here
other
we go.
villains
Here we go.
could come and get you to find my whereabouts as a human, and then your life
Sorry.
could be in danger. She can't handle it.
Okay, so we were
Can't
foster.
handle the truth.
We were foster parents for like 15 years with the Children's Aid Society here in Durham. Randy grew up in care, and every child that came through our home, this was the story he told them. So for 15 years, he's been telling this story, how he's X-Man. So then for Christmas, our kids bought him the new Apple, what do you call them? They're not earbuds, so what are they?
Headphones?
Headphones? And they actually had it engraved on the top of one of them, X-Man. That's how much he goes around telling people he's X-Man.
That's not me telling people. The news gets around, sweetheart. And there's not a lot of super fighters, and there really is a
You're
handful
darn right
of them.
there's not a lot
Yeah,
of them because that doesn't happen.
No, okay. Should we educate people on what X-Man is? X-Man is, if you notice how quickly my nails grow, for example. So that's like, one of
Wolverine?
the X-Men, the Wolverine. So they're taking different parts of my personality and my skill sets, and they're making X-Men. And I happen to be the X-Man. So that's just how that is. And this is a story that we created over several years.
Not we. No. You can take credit for this one.
Yeah, so I think we should move on.
I think so too, because
actually real
Because we are endangering lives by speaking about this. Because people, I'm just saying, the best thing you can do. Actually, do we have that flash that eliminates things from
that's
people's
Men
minds?
in Black now. Okay, we're
Yeah.
on to Men in Black now.
Yeah, we better
fighting
do that.
aliens and intergalactic. Oh my goodness! What are you doing?
I am doing the flash, sweetheart. We don't want them to. There we go. Okay.
You're not okay.
So we've
You
done
are
the flash.
not okay.
Anybody who's watching, they have forgotten, and now it's just the people who are listening.
So
we're
we're
going to need
all
a
safe.
special audio tone. Gary, do you have one happen to eliminate? Because this is serious. We don't want people. We've got over 6,000 people listening. We do not want them, being held hostage by other super villains.
I listen to this all the time, by the way, so feel bad for me.
Oh, thank you for that. Now we need something audio for the radio show. So Mike just came in with the flasher, and that was very helpful. Okay, so let's move on.
Any
You guys,
emails first before you start your? No.
Not really, no. I'm not really sure what that means.
Randy goes to the barber for a shave. Where does he go for the for a whip?
Well, it says wipe.
Oh, I don't know. I don't get that one either. I guess he's saying he doesn't wipe his own. I don't know. I don't know about that one.
who was that?
That was from Cindy.
Cindy, he has a debate. What do you call it?
Boudet.
Boudet.
Okay,
It is, isn't it?
I think we're getting a little too personal here. Superheroes
You put yourself out there.
Superheroes don't like to go that deep into these kind of
Into
topics.
the mess. Too deep into the mess.
Household debt is the highest in the GTA. Canada's household debt is the highest of the G7.
Of the
Of
G7,
all the G7s, yeah. And that was on BBC just the other day. We are looking rough. I am telling you, I watched Tiff Macklin go through several interviews, and I got some chalked up here, but we're going to get back to a high-tech environment where we're able to show you exactly what's on our TV screens, on our computer screens. But Tiff Macklin was trying to get down to some discussions, and everybody kept asking about interest rates, and he was not happy about that. So I happened to have queued up one of his talks that he did, and boy, oh boy, I have never seen anything really like it. This man, because there would be two things, and I'll probably get it chalked up, because if I send it to Gary on Tuesday, I'll be able to play these. The first clip is of him prior to him jacking up the interest rates and bankrupting a bunch of people. Then the second one is of him just really arrogantly, with a big smile, tell everybody that he's not lowering rates, and where in what he has said has he talked about lowering rates. But the fact is that you can't really believe what he says, because he sort of misled everybody, misguided everybody, and he is the leader of the Bank of Canada and has huge effects on our economic climate. And right now, he went and did QE to give, to bring all this money into the banking system, and then interest rates went to go crazy, and then they found a different reason to blame the interest rates on. They blame it on us rather than the $3.4 billion or over $3 billion that they pumped into the banking system during COVID when we weren't allowed out of our homes. And that didn't cause inflation. It was us coming out of our homes and buying stuff, they're saying, that caused inflation. And then when they ask him the question about interest rates, so what's going on, he says, when's he gonna consider lowering them? That's when he got kind of snarky. And that's what I want to say, to be honest with you. That is another great reason that they should have someone else take over that position. He's a very brilliant man, but to be the head governor of the Bank of Canada, I think he may be too calloused. I think he maybe, and I'm not sure because I don't have the skill sets to be in that position. But he was appointed by Justin Trudeau, which then gives me reason to question it, right? Because we know that Justin Trudeau has made some very serious errors, and this may just be another one. And I would like to see, and here's the other thing that's kind of curious: why only one person, that Polyev, says that he should be terminated, but nobody else is. And I can tell you what the answer for that is. Why everybody is perfectly okay with what he has done and what he is doing, the position we're in. They talk about it in a very casual way. It's because they do not want Canadians to lose confidence in our economy and in our monetary policies, because that could be devastating. So because of that, you're going to see a lot of conservative voices out there and on how they approach the problems that the Bank of Canada has caused.
So you're saying if they replace Tiff, that people are gonna be like worried?
No, if they talk about replacing him, if they
So don't talk about it, just do it. Just
well, yeah, but that would require like Justin Trudeau to step in to do something of that nature, and we know that that's not going to happen. So the thing is that you know, in pointing out the wrongs that he's doing, because you gotta sort of understand what he has done. And this is generally accepted practice throughout the G7 and probably the G20, as a matter of fact, to have done this QE and ramped up all of this debt, and then start to wheel it back in and jack up interest rates to try to control the inflation that you actually created, that you're blaming on Canadians, because in their opinion, corporations cannot cause inflation. It's us that causes it. Okay, and that just sounds like a bunch of horse manure, but in him doing all this, he has absolutely destroyed our banking system. But our banking system is still held together. But I'm telling you now, it's held together by Band-Aids, not even duct tape. It's Band-Aids, and how you know is just listen to the news. They're not telling you that that we're in financial ruin. What they're telling you is 20% of the banks, and we only found this out from one bank, 20% of the banks are mortgage portfolios underwater. Those are bankrupted mortgages. 20%. CIBC is the one that exposed it. And 30% have 30 years or more amortizations, which is a product they don't carry. So, and they said 30-year or more because they were talking about product they don't carry. And so, but they have 30% of this, and 20% of that, if CIBC is the model for all of the big six, have that is
so it was
bad.
It was CIBC that released this, because I was going to talk about this a bit. Stealing my article. And
Go ahead.
see how
Go
it is.
ahead. Yes.
Yeah,
But,
mine is kind of related a little bit as well.
Yeah, so more or less what Randy is saying is that 1 in 4 mortgages are 35 years or longer, and of that, only CIBC is actually kind of low in this. Only Scotiabank is kind of low in this sector, where 0.7% of their mortgages are in that kind of category. BMO, TD, CIBC, RBC have seen about a quarter of their mortgages with amortizations of over 30 years, which again isn't even really, it's not legal as of right now, right? Because I think 25 years is what it's supposed to be, and yeah, so a lot of these mortgages are
20% or less. Yeah.
Yeah, are over what they're supposed to be in terms of amortization, and even OFSI, as I think Randy was talking about before, OFSI has recently suggested that removing the ability to extend mortgages amortizations might lead to more delinquencies and downward pressure on home prices, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, as these prices are, again, we kind of had that downfall last year, but as we've been talking about, they've begun picking up again, where even though we're still year over year less than what we were last year, it's still picking up pretty quickly.
Well, if you think about why they're delinquent, it's like, here's the year over year increases in costs of living. And some of them are necessities, some of them aren't, but groceries went up 9.1%. Shelter costs, 4.9%. Health and personal care, 6.4%. Alcohol and tobacco products, 5.3%. Clothing, transportation, gas, and household furnishings were all below 3% inflation. But when you think about it, your mortgage is going up, but so is everything else that you have to buy, the gas to get to work, the groceries to feed your family. You got to have shelter, a roof over your head. Health and personal care, well, if you don't have your health and you're not taking care of yourself personally, what's the point of any of it? So when you think about it, everything is going up. So the little guy is suffering. Like, we're all suffering because everything's going up. And I guarantee you, I shouldn't say guarantee because I might be wrong, but they will increase the rates come September. I got a feeling they are.
Yeah, everybody's talking about that. I really don't know. I'm not sure how they can. The problem is you got to remember, the banking system is going through this problem because of the rising rates. So how far can they take the banking system is really what it is. So forget about us. We are peons to them. We are ants just running around in our little village. And so for us, it's not a big consideration, but I can tell you the banking industry going under is a big consideration. And as Anthony mentioned, OFSI, which is the Office of Superintendent of Financial Institutions, they are the regulator of the banks. They are coming out with a lot of really tough legislations. They've made some legal changes within their organization to be able to handle this new reality that the Bank of Canada has imposed on the financial system, on the financial institutions. And it's a big concern for them that, trying to get the banks to not go under when they have such a rotten portfolio of mortgages right now. Probably one of the worst in history, and it's all brought on by the policies of the Bank of Canada. So you can imagine that this is a pretty serious problem, and where the Bank of Canada is talking so tough, and Tiff Macklin is talking so tough, so people are very concerned. But here's the thing. Can he actually do it, or is he telling us another fib like he told us before? And I there's part of me is saying that, if they were to attempt a rate hike in September, it would have to be small just to be able to send a message. But really, honestly, they can't afford for the financial institutions to go under. And as it is right now, when it comes to 2026, if everything stays the same, people are going to see between 20 and 30% increase in their mortgage payments at renewal. All the people that were on 5-year fixes have not had that experience yet. All of this turmoil that we're going through is all variable mortgages, which, quite interesting, throughout the history of mortgages, variable mortgages was the best way to go. Most people, as a matter of fact, variable mortgages wasn't even available to the average person before. It was something that was only for the elites. And then it became available for the average person, and a lot of people didn't like it because they liked the security of the 5-year fixed. But the 5-year fixed security cost more money, and so the banks would make more profits. Everything was good. But now Tiff Macklin has made the variable product very unpredictable and a big problem. So this is a total switch. And I don't think, for whatever reason, the news media, and I think they have to be careful that they don't cause people to lose confidence in the Bank of Canada, in our government, and so they're very conservative with their wording. But there's some very big problems out there. And as Jackie pointed out, cost of living has gone up. Those numbers that she read, they're all fine and wonderful, but I don't even know if any of us are really experiencing those small percentage increases, 3, 4, 5,
What do you
6,
mean?
7, 8. We're experiencing 10, 20, 30% increases in our costs of living.
Especially groceries. I notice a lot of items have almost doubled.
I know one bag of groceries is like $100 now. Like,
Oh,
What
and
the
that's
heck
no
is that?
meat. And that is no meat.
It's
That, like,
insane.
yeah.
It's insane. You used to be able to get a whole cart for $100, $200.
But-
Now $100 for a bag. Like you got a bag and you say $100, and you
Yeah.
pay it, and you're thinking, for those of us that do not shop, you're thinking, holy smokes, how could this be $100? And they charge you 10 cents for the bag too. And then now my understanding is
Oh, they don't
that
do bags anymore.
no, actually I think it was $1 for the
Oh, the
linen
music,
bag,
yeah.
or you can get
No,
the paper bag.
25 cents. And
Is
the
that-
paper
is that
bag,
what it is?
The paper bag was 10 cents. Now it's gone up to 15. But I still think the reusable store bag is 25
it
cents.
depends.
But some places it is more, but it's a little better quality bag.
Okay,
I'll give them that.
okay, so then I put on my skeptical glasses.
The ones you have on all the time, you mean?
And I go, okay, well, hold on a second. There was a time when they were charging for the plastic bags because they wanted to save the world. And if they charged us for the plastic bags, they would start to save the world. Just like last night, I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the GTA here, it was kind of cold. And we're into the summer months, or we're getting
it's
really,
not summer
really
yet.
close to
It's
summer
not
months.
summer.
It's May 2-4 weekend, so that's our basically big kickoff for planting flowers in summer months. And it was kind of cold. So we know now that the carbon tax is working. It's cooled down the environment. And so we can tell because we are chilly now. So that's working.
The joke
and
is tired. That
And then now that they charge for plastic bags, now you can't get plastic bags. And
Yeah, you
now
can.
they're hard. You go in the stores, they don't
Foodland
have
is
them.
still giving them for free.
Yeah, for now, but then
Okay,
they won't.
and then I don't think they can give them for free.
Yeah.
I think you have to charge by law.
No, they're not
I
charging.
believe so.
They are
So-
not charging for the plastic bag.
I believe so. So I would have to go and check, and I know my wife
When was
is
the last
usually wrong.
time you grocery shopped?
I don't. So here's the other thing: is that the paper bags, which don't you remember we got rid of the paper bags because we wanted to save the trees? Well, now that the trees have been saved, we're getting rid of the plastic bags and we're back to paper bags because the trees aren't important anymore. So but they're charging for the paper bags. So maybe they're using that money to save
The
the trees because we know how much the trees like
They're
the
using
money.
it to plant trees. There you go.
I think it's all very convoluted and crazy. Let's move on to a different thing. Can we talk about the Tesla? Tesla cars, the electric cars?
Why?
Because our daughter got one, and I
She
had.
doesn't want her business on.
I was at a barbecue last night, and one of the guys there who listens to the show says, "Your daughter got a Tesla, and you don't like electric cars." And I said, "Dude, you got it all wrong.
Where did he hear that?
That I don't
That
like
you-
electric
yeah.
cars
On the show.
Yeah, on the show.
On the show, you just talk about it.
But
you
but
argue
what-
with me when he was wrong about what I was talking about electric
I'm
cars.
not wrong.
It's the first step, Randy, is realizing. But it's
Yeah,
all
no,
fine.
I agree, but I wasn't wrong.
That's okay. Go on.
When he
go on.
can't get past the first
So
step.
so
So
funny.
there's no other steps.
So here's the thing. I said, no, I got nothing against electric cars. What I have is I'm against is our government's stance on electric cars.
Government pushing it.
But yeah, so the government goes and gives a $7,000
But Randy, they're
rebate.
saving the planet.
They give a
She
$7,000.
got 5,000.
Okay, but the government goes and offers up to $7,000 rebate for the cars, and basically charges the car industry this $7,000 so they can give it to the consumer. And what does the car industry do? They jack up their prices $7,000 so they can pass it on to the consumer. So it was a net nothing. It's and for our governments to realize that
But
these things are silly.
Exactly,
So this
but that's
is
the
one
government's
problem.
fault, because
So-
they should have put
That's one problem. The
rules
other
on it.
The other problem, well, they couldn't put rules on. You can't dictate what you're going to charge for a car. How do you do that? It
Then
costs
give
money
it,
to
then
manufacture.
you know what? Then give it to the people that are actually passing the discount on. If you don't pass the discount on, you don't get it from the
But
government.
Jackie, it's not a discount. You're building cars for a profit. And if the government comes in and says, oh, guess what? We're going to take $7,000 profit from every one of your cars, then they probably can't build cars at that price. So they got to add that back on.
You trying to tell me that their markup is that little?
Yes, I believe it is,
I
Jack.
don't think it's too much on cars.
I don't. I really
Yeah?
think yes, and I think it's because there's too many people like you in government. This is why we
I
have
am-
this problem. The next thing is I'm just teasing.
Anyways,
I'll go to the
guys,
next one.
if you guys like this going on here with us, you need to go to our YouTube channel. You need to see my facial expressions and my body language,
At your team
because
bros.
that is a prize.
The next one that I had with it was that they're pushing the fact that the carbon footprint of the electric car is way better because no emissions come out the tailpipe. But then you go and you do the research, and to build this infrastructure in and the building of the batteries and all that stuff, there is no benefit realistically to this change. There may be a benefit to it when the new
Later.
dinosaurs take over the world and they're driving the electric cars. There may, because we'll have the infrastructure in then, it may be beneficial.
Is it a short-term versus long-term thing, or is it just not beneficial?
Well, it's a little bit of a short-term versus long-term, but what it is that we have the infrastructure for gas vehicles, right?
I get it, but-
and so now to eliminate that, what happens? Our cost of living goes crazy. So
Okay, but take a breath. So, saying you're right, again, and I don't know all the I didn't deep dive into any of this.
Yeah, so you're just gonna make it up.
No,
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna ask you a question since you did the deep dive. So, if we stay where we are now with with gas cars, don't invest into electric cars, would that be better than? Yes, the carbon footprint is big now, but long term, over time, let's say 30 years, over a 30-year period, yes, we're doing a lot of damage now, but long term, would it even out and eventually be less?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. But here, the answer to your question is very complicated. But I'm just going to say this, is that there were many times in history that our carbon footprint was worse per capita. So the thing is, and we're all here. We're all here, and there's
But
no.
you can't. That's very short-sighted.
No, well, hold on. Is it really short-sighted? Because are we trying to fix a problem that we may have already adjusted for? And so that's a really big question
You mean
to me.
saying that the carbon doesn't hurt us anymore? What do you mean?
Well, the thing is, carbon dioxide. So you got carbon monoxide, and you have carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is not bad. So that's one thing, and that's one of the big measurements. And so hold on, but if you're talking about carbon monoxide, that's poisonous. So we need to sort of, we need to really check the difference, what we're talking about. But right now they're talking about like cow farts.
And
like
also,
this is insane.
And again, I get what you're saying with that before versus now, but again, I'm not a scientist in that sense, but the whole point from my understanding is that all this carbon dioxide, monoxide, whatever it is, it's not that it's affecting us, it's affecting our ecosystem, or it's affecting the ozone layer.
Yeah.
So
have you ever seen, because even building houses does the same thing, have you ever seen a property that hasn't been inhabited in 100 years? The roof is disintegrated, the windows are disintegrated, there's trees growing up through the concrete. It's being eaten by our earth. And our sun, and it's been eaten. So the thing is that I think that where some of these discussions are underestimating the power of our Earth. And if we were all to die right now, all this stuff would all be turned back
Yeah,
into soil
yes,
eventually.
But if we all died
And
right
so
now,
if we all died,
if we all died right now, there'd be none of us to create all this extra crap.
yeah, if you, well, I personally think that our lives are worth the extra crap.
I didn't say that.
And,
What
and,
are you
and,
talking about?
and no, I'm just happen to say is that I think our lives are worth the extra crap, and I think that our government, and this is the part about the electric cars, I think they're a beautiful technology and everything, but I think the government has misled people like yourself into believing that all of us having to pay more in taxes, having to pay more in everything, that we are actually on track to save the earth.
But no.
And
So
that's
slow down,
crazy.
But I didn't say I believe any stuff. I'm just throwing out information, throwing stuff out there. I have no idea.
So you're just sitting in the middle of the pack playing
He's
dumb.
being the devil's advocate.
Yeah, I'm just asking questions to see where it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm making it interesting versus just spewing.
I'm not sure
Just
about
blabbing,
Spewing-
right?
spewing
Instead of
nonsense.
just blabbing words.
No offense, though.
that. No, I don't take
I
it
say it-
personally.
Oh, he doesn't take
I-
any
I-
offense.
say it with
I
love.
look at the source.
He
and
takes no offense to anything.
source?
I look at the source.
Wikipedia?
No,
Really?
you, and then I determine if that should be offensive or not.
Anywho.
Because, like you said, you don't know.
I think we've had enough of you for now. We have some
Yeah.
emails to go through. So first off, we have one a while back from Kelly. Sorry for taking so long to get to this, Kelly. But she says, hello to Randy, Jackie, and Anthony. You are hilarious, and hopefully this portion has helped with that as well. We are cracked up here in Toronto. Well, thank you very much, Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks.
From Jim, when you were talking about, I believe, Tiff.
Yeah.
Jim says, get rid of him. Hey, all right, hey, you're home. How do you say his name?
Polyev.
Polyev is right. Get rid of those fools running this country and bankrupting this country. Well, we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, let's see what Canadians think.
From Ray. Ray says, right on to Sir Randy. Exactly right. Incompetence and crooks incompetence and crooks this government are in this government. Hey, it shouldn't affect these jerks in office, so why should they care? Tell that to the person trying to make a living at 50 grand a year. They are sinking fast.
Yeah.
50 grand a year is really not even pocket change today, especially if you're trying to own a home.
Yeah.
Considering with rental, which I might talk about later if we have time, if Randy doesn't take up the next 20 minutes. And finally from Carl. Carl is the subject line ruining us. Tiff is a jerk, and he should be in prison. I am in banking as an advisor, and I can't believe what this guy is doing to Canadians. It is his and Trudeau's fault and responsibility. This is nuts. It is crazy. They're ruining this country. Well, this is what's gone on for the last, but basically since COVID is kind of, just being a whirlwind and really, really bad for a lot of people, especially with this crazy inflation over the last year or so, where, it just costs much, much more to really do anything. Any and everything.
Well, the best places
Helga.
to buy real estate. Oh, Helga, yeah.
Helga sent a picture
Yeah.
of kids working in, I guess, the cobalt mine, mining for the electric batteries. And so that's to reduce the cost of these very, very expensive vehicles. These vehicles are not cheap. Like the entry level, our daughter picked the white one. She earns more
It
money
wasn't
than...
entry level. She bought the Y. She bought the SUV.
That's the entry level SUV.
It means entry at that.
Oh, at the, okay.
Right. Do you have more to say about that? You're good. So she bought the entry level. She didn't get any upgrades except for the battery, because like you want to be able to travel to where you're going. And she bought the white one because you don't pay any extra for color. And she didn't get any upgrades at all. And it's still a 70,000 plus vehicle. If she went up to the next one, that's a Y. If you go up to the next one, Z, it's another $50,000. X.
Oh, X.
If you go up to the next one, it's like an extra $50,000, and it comes with all the bells and whistles.
Plus the 20%
Plus
luxury
a
tax.
20% luxury tax. And so these vehicles are very expensive. They're not like, okay, great, electric cars.
Wait, there's
You
a
get
20% luxury tax?
Yes. On the
On
X.
top of the price?
Yes.
On the X,
On the
yeah.
X.
luxury tax.
Luxury
Because
tax.
it's considered a luxury, I guess.
Yes.
So I have to
when
pay extra because it's luxurious. What kind of?
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yes.
the funny thing was, I was telling Randy that I went with her to pick up her car on Monday, and the guy was, going through everything. She was signing everything, and I'm looking at all the files he has there, right? Because every person gets a file. And I said, wow, that's a lot of files. He said, believe it or not, he said, today they had 75 car pickups in their location.
Wow.
That was
alone.
79.
Huh?
You told me 79
Well, I
before.
lied to you, but that's nothing new. But no, it was 75. I told him 75, but he's old and don't listen to me anymore. But yeah, so think about it. Like, that's just one location for Tesla one day. 75, like, it was crazy, nuts there. The cars were coming out, and it was crazy.
You do see a lot more of them on the road.
Oh, yeah, a lot, especially the smaller car.
Yeah, the 3.
But anyways, back to real estate.
All right, so a few more emails before we get
Oh,
onto
go
it.
ahead.
We had one from Frank talking about, I think, the grocery bills. He's showing us he paid $150 for a basket of groceries, and I wouldn't call it a basket, maybe a quarter of a basket of groceries, which
Yeah.
is probably just about right. Helga talking about the Tesla. Let's see. Yeah, so with Tesla, basically, Tesla talking about with the downside about basically anything that uses batteries. The way you get your batteries is, unfortunately, right now with like a lot of people who are mining these things. So the picture shows people mining for the batteries. So that
they
is
show
Kids.
kids
Oh,
mine.
kids.
Kids,
Okay,
little
kids,
kids.
So that is, and this is for Teslas. This is for your cell phones. This is for pretty much almost anything that uses a battery. So we do need to figure out a better way of doing that. And finally, again from Helga. So I think this is in regards to the carbon footprint. So she says, right, no carbon footprint. But where do these idiots who own these cars think the power comes from to charge them? They come from power plants that are coal, gas, nuclear, etc. Plus all the factories that are producing these cars are producing plastic, fiberglass, rubber, etc. The factories that use power plants from these carbon plants produce exhaust in these factories, in the factory stacks that are polluting the air. The people that want these cars are dumb. The technology is not there yet. I don't know if I'd go that far
don't-
because whether
yeah.
it's whether it's
I
a, whether,
might.
whether,
I
it's,
think-
whether it's a gas car or electric car, you still have the same, not the same, but you still
Yeah.
have the factories that are giving off the pollution.
Emissions.
Okay.
So like if you have
Yeah.
in my opinion, if you have a car that works right now, that's nothing wrong with it. If you're just if you're gonna go from that car to a Tesla, that doesn't make any sense if you're an environmental person, because
Thank you.
to have a car that works and just to buy a new car for no reason, then makes no sense. Then
But
you're
the majority of these people buying these electric cars, that's not the reason. Gas is crazy,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they're looking in, I think some of them are looking into the future. Is it
savings.
going to get any better with
Yeah,
the
and
gas
Yeah,
prices?
but those cars won't be. They
I
won't
mean-
be there in the future. In that sense, it'll be dead, and then we're going to try to figure out how to
the batteries, you mean?
get the batteries, and then we figure out how to change the next one. And I think someone is saying something like it's like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 to change the battery.
Yeah, I think the battery
So,
costs
so anyways, we're going to see how that how it plays out. But one thing I will say is that the car is cool as hell. Like I
Oh, it
mean,
is.
so you know, in terms of the government doesn't have to go on with all these lies. You can let the product deal for itself. Because I will tell you, the young kids are going to love the cars because the car does light shows. You can go in and watch
the lights
movies.
to,
you can make your
the
car
music.
home fart. Like there's all kinds of crazy things that you can do with it that you could never do with another
no,
car.
honestly, you can make the horn a fart, which my daughter was having that
A fun
time
time
with
with.
all the different beeps. So when we came to the office the other day, and Randy and my brother-in-law were out on the street, she's like, "Let me fart at them," and so
And
we're
then-
coming across the street and she's honking.
And then the other thing is when you sit inside that car, it is a really nice feeling.
Clean, like it's nothing. It's just a
simple,
screen.
and then if you look up at the sky, it's absolutely stunning because the whole roof is just exposed to the sky, and it's absolutely beautiful. Much better than because on the Mercedes it has a big
had that
roof,
too, yeah.
but it doesn't. It's not as nice as what's done on the Tesla. So there are some really good things, and I think if you let the market dictate what's going on, that's fine. But the government's so involved in it, spending our money and everything to promote it, and it just makes no sense to me. So I just want to clear the air that that the problem that I have is not with the electric car. It is with the way in which our government is handling, and I believe the propaganda that they're putting out with regards to.
And honestly, there's propaganda with
and the
everything. Like,
policies.
again, this is a bit off topic, but like, I'm into sports, and I was talking. If you're watching the basketball playoffs right now, you have the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics going at it. And I was reading this article talking about Jimmy Butler, one of the players on the Heat, talking about in wins he has these stats, and in losses he has these stats. So basically saying in losses he's averaging 21 points versus 26 in wins. But when you dig deeper into it, they've lost 2 games. In one game he scored 30 points in the loss. In the other game he scored 14, which averaged out to 21. So to say he's averaging much less in the losses, yes, it's true, but really in the 6 games he's played, he had 1 bad game. So it's just, you got to take these numbers, and when people give you these stats with a grain of salt, because they're telling you things, they're framing it, they're not necessarily lying to you, but they're
twisting.
they're twisting the numbers, misleading you in terms of how they portray these different things to you. So just take, whenever you're watching the news, reading an article, whatever it is you're listening to, take it with a grain of salt, and maybe take it for an overall. But if you really want to kind of get into what they're saying, you got to dig a bit deeper and actually get the actual facts to see what's actually going on.
And you can't just go to one source and get your facts from there. You really can't. You got to go all over, and then you got to kind of jumble them together and see what's.
And if we're talking about misleading.
Oh boy! And just looked at me.
Yeah. So actually, come to think of it, you were misleading. When we were getting married, you were going to take good care of me and everything, and then now that's it. But anyways, we'll deal with that at another time. So
I'll show you what not taking good care of you is. Wait until you see what he's going to look like next week.
So misleading is what the topic was, and I think that you're going to find, because we're at the end of May. And so what we've seen is a softening in the marketplace already. So prices seem to continue to rise, but actually, no, that's not really true. Continue to rise in the Toronto area.
Are
so
you
we're
making
not
this
talking,
up as you're going?
No, we're not talking. I'm calling on experience here. We're not talking about the GTA. We're talking about the Toronto core, so the East Toronto, Central Toronto, West Toronto has experienced an increase in price over the last week. But Durham, outskirts, the east, the west, the north, the outskirts are all experiencing a downturn in price. Now, we don't know what this is. It could just be an anomaly, or it could be the descent into the summer months. It isn't abnormal for this to happen, but what I want you guys to know is that it has started. That descent into the summer months has started. Will it maintain? I don't really know. Here's the reason why we don't know. So under normal circumstances, yes, that would continue on into the summer months. But right now, there is no inventory. We don't have inventory, so buyers don't have anything to choose from. So therefore, they're fighting over what's out there. But we also have noticed that buyers have also pulled back, because we were getting 10, 15 offers on a property, and now we're getting 2, 3, 4 offers. We're still getting the same results within those 4 people, but we're not getting 10, 15 offers
Okay, but
anymore.
when you're getting 10 to 15 offers, 10 of those are low balls.
Yeah, there are people, and this is
And that's why you're getting the exact same
Results.
with the 4 offers as you are with the 15, because 10 of them, you don't even want to look at them.
Yeah, 10 of them are wasting their time, their realtor's time, the seller's time, and they really think that they have a chance. They go, well, you never know. Well, you do know, because homeowners don't throw away $100,000 just because you want to try something. They typically, if they don't get the price that they want, then they just take it off the market, or they relist it at a higher price that they do want. So your low ball offers are absolutely a waste of time and energy and everything like that. But what I will tell you, and that's when there's a multiple offer scenario, I'll tell you when people want to blame realtors for jacking up the prices, no, you can blame all these people that are throwing in lowball offers and jacking up the number of offers that are being there so that people are competing more aggressively because of all of these offers, when really a lot of them are no good. So don't put in your offer. You know what you do if you're really looking for a deal? Throwing in a lowball offer on a property is not how you're going to get a deal. This is how you get the deal. Okay? What you do is you wait for offer day to come and go, because you were never going to get that property at your lowball offer anyways. And all you're doing is creating more competition and possibly jacking up prices. So don't submit an offer so there's less offers for people to compete against, so they may not be as aggressive on their price. That's the first thing. If the seller doesn't get what they want and that offer day fails, now the seller puts it out at a price that they actually kind of want, or they try the process again. You wait. You give them a couple of weeks. You see, sellers, what happens to them, typically speaking, their house is worth, let's say, $1 million. Well, as they're decluttering and as they stage, they look at it and say, oh, this is worth 1.2 now, because their new green shag carpet they found out is rare, that they don't sell it anymore. So the new buyer wouldn't even be able to get it. So it's got to be worth more money, and they want more money for their home. But as
And
their home,
I'm sorry, Randy, but we're seeing a lot more of these original homes coming on the market now as well.
and that's saying something. And but now what'll happen is after 2 weeks, and they thought that they could get the extra $200,000 for their green shag rug, they're realizing, maybe people don't want the green shag rug. And so they're like starting to think, okay, well, maybe we have to bring our prices down. Then they drop the price a little bit, and then you give them 2 more weeks. And now they may be in a situation where they're a little bit more desperate. That's when you can try your lowball offer, and that's when you may have a shot. When you're alone,
you may lose it, but you're not going to get it anyway.
The chances are you're probably going to lose it because there's not. But it sort of depends on the situation. As we were saying before, one of the best things that people could have done when we don't like to give away all of our secrets, I guess, but what we were helping people to realize, buyers that wanted a deal, is that when buyers had sold their houses at high price, and you remember when all the deals were falling through because the appraisals couldn't happen, when you let the deal fall through, the deal fell through, and now that seller has to sell. But what's happening to that seller is that they're guaranteed the last price that they sold at. They try and they can't get it. So then they bring down the price and they're not getting anything. Those are the perfect houses to go after, because when the home seller sells, the difference between the high price and the price you got it for, they get that back when they go after the previous buyer. And so that's where you can tend to get better deals and have a seller that may not be as concerned about what price he sells at. He just wants to unload it so he can move on to the house that he's bought, because he's usually carrying 2 because he had sold the one. That's where you can get a deal. There are some techniques that you can use to get a deal, but going around throwing in lowball offers, you're wasting everybody's time.
And I'm still seeing a lot of high-end homes selling. 2-3 million, like, people are out there, you give them a good product, like, I'm surprised how quickly they're selling too. Like, they're not on the market for like 60-70 days. They're selling, and I guess that some of that is a lot of people, at least out here, that have sold their huge homes in the city and they're moving out and they're still buying a relatively big home, but some of them are buying it outright. Believe it or not, like, because they've sold like $3-4 million home in Toronto, and they're walking away with like maybe $1 million in their pocket, and so those kind of people, they're not scared of paying what they have to pay for a home. But we don't have a lot of time, so
Wait.
I'm just going to summarize. You want to say something?
We have one. I will leave the email for after, but go ahead.
No, yours looks more interesting.
Oh, my article? Okay. Well, the one thing I was going to talk about is it kind of relates, I guess, with not having many houses on the market to actually buy, is the cost for rent, which we've been talking about a little bit about the last few weeks. So basically the article had a question: $3,000 for a one-bedroom apartment, and experts are saying that this might be the norm. So the issue is that our rental market is heating up because with our immigration policies and with more people coming into the city, with a limited supply, all that's happening is there's this many beds, but there's this many people. So what happens is the price starts to shoot up. And as of right now, in Toronto, the prices for homes are exceeding around $2,500 right now, according to rentals.ca, and this is in March, and it's getting higher and higher. Right? The price increase year over year is 22% from the same time last year, going from March numbers, and many experts are predicting that they're saying by 2030 the price could be $3,000, but
For one
it's
bedroom.
for a one bedroom, which is crazy, and we're kind of trending in that area, right? So in Toronto we have $2,500 average. In Vancouver they're around $2,743. They're up 17.3% year over year. So it's not getting easier whether you're trying to buy or rent. It's a very expensive proposition, especially considering that our income is pretty flat year over year. So if you're in somewhere right now renting, you're I guess good-ish. They can increase your rates year over year, but it's usually kind of capped. But it's not getting easier for first-time buyers or first-time renters because the prices are not flat. They're definitely going up, and they're going up relatively quickly.
I think that's why you're seeing a lot more room for rent, because people in a lot of cases can only afford to rent a room, because even a room in some cases in a house, especially if you have your own bathroom, can run you to like $1,700 for a room because you got a private bathroom. Like, I'm not joking. I've seen it in Markham where people are paying, like, it's crazy.
You want to do your article quick?
Well,
Okay,
Okay, go ahead. I have the email. But go ahead. I'll do the email.
No, do the email, because this is...
Well, the email is kind of going back to, I think we're talking about the Tesla stuff from Larry. Larry's talking about the planet. So Larry says, our Earth with this carbon footprint crap. I'm tired of these self-righteous environmentalist liberals who think the only thing wrong with this country is there aren't enough bicycle paths. People trying to make the world safe for their Teslas. Besides, there's nothing wrong with the planet. The planet is fine. The people are effed. Difference. The planet is doing great. Being here for 4.5 billion years. The planet has been here 4.5 billion years. We've been here, what, 100,000? Maybe 200,000? And we've only engaged in heavy industry for a little over 200 years. The planet has been through a lot worse than us, been through all kinds of things worse than us, been through earthquakes, volcanoes, plate tectonics. It goes on for a lot of things. Hundreds, sunspots, magnetic storms, and so forth. Ice ages was a long list. And we think some of these plastic bags and aluminum cans are going to make a difference. So I think Mr. Larry is kind of on your side, Randy, where, again,
I'll tell you right now, when the last time we were in Barbados, we met an engineer, and he lives in Vancouver, and he that's what his company does. They do carbon. They bury it underground to get rid of it, and it is huge money in that right now.
They bury carbon?
They bury, like, I don't get the whole gist of it, but he was saying the same thing where now other companies are seeing how they can make money by doing something with the carbon. But it is a huge thing, and those kind of people think that it's a huge problem. But I don't know, I think we're out of time.
You got 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds. Best place to buy real estate nationally, and I'm not even going to get into it. There was 45, and 29 of those places were in Ontario. So we're still the place to be, Ontario.
But is it the highest price to live?
Yes.
Why would that be?
It's going, like, the best places to buy
best
real
places,
estate based on price.
Based on price? And Toronto has...
Canada.
In Canada.
Yeah, but these are the outskirts. The
This is
outskirts are
29 though. I mean, Ontario's a huge province,
like
right?
Peterborough Kawartha is 17, right?
Yeah, you got
Moncton in New Brunswick is number
North
one.
Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, Bancroft,
Some places nobody knows about.
Quint,
You can't work.
Kawartha Lakes, Kingston, Peterborough, Simcoe, Humberland Hills, Brantford. Some of these are, I mean,
Far.
London. We know St. Thomas. We know those. Those are Barrie, Ottawa,
Very good.
Grey Bruce. There
Want
you
to close
go.
us out there?
That was very invigorating, Jackie. Thank
Wasn't
you.
it?
Well,
Hey.
thank you. Oakville falling last.
All right, ladies
Yeah.
and gents.
Well, Oakville is.
Thanks for joining us for another weekend of our banter and craziness. If you have any emails or any questions during the week, send it to onair@yourteam.pro. If you want to catch replay of this or any other previous show, you can find us on YouTube to search for Your Team Pros. And as always, it's been your home, your money, and our lives on reallyradio101.com. Have a
Bye
great
for
weekend.
now.
Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Your Home, Your Money with your hosts, Randy, Jackie, and Anthony, right here on Reality Radio 101.